everyone, and welcome to our weekly SonRise Project call. Once again, I'm so happy to have all of you here. I'm happy to be back. I've been gone for a few weeks on holiday, much needed holiday, but I am grateful and blessed to be here with you this morning on this beautiful Sunday morning for our call. And we are here in a safe space this morning, filled with love and compassion and our mutual desire to heal ourselves and our families. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And I take a deep breath in such gratitude and a Zen state of mind this morning, coming back from a 2-week holiday, and grateful for that time. And even more grateful to be able to be here today with Sylvia High, who has graced us with her fantastic presence several times here since 2020. And she is back for more wisdom and magic this morning. Before I turn it over to Sylvia, let me share with those of you who may not know who she is, a little bit about her. She is founder and CEO of AM High, Inc., and she is an author, a master coach, and a training and development strategist with nearly 30 years of success delivering content and context to help businesses and individuals, which I'll just harp on that part, individuals like myself and others, learn how to be better and how to thrive. She is author of this incredible book called The Little Book of Big Questions, which is a journal to self-discovery. And that book uses pointed questions to guide people through self-introspection, self-discovery, and achievement. It is a fantastic book. I recommend it. It's called The Little Book of Big Questions. And I could go on and on, and I will just share a few more pieces. Sylvia has led transformative corporate seminars around the world, including the Game Changer Workshop, as well as multiple public training sessions. And she has been an impact speaker. She's been on Oprah's The Life You Want tour. She has spoken at TD Jakes' MegaFest, Leading Women Define, the Dream Project Symposium, the Power of Now Conference, Cisco's Women of Impact, on and on and on. And I would say life-changing is how I would describe Sylvia. She is life-changing. She really is a game changer. And she hosts an incredible conference that I've had the pleasure of attending both virtually and in person every year, called the I Am Woman Conference. And it is coming up in just a month in September. And it is fantastic. I have been, like I said, every year that I can attend, I have attended, and it has been life-changing and game-changing. And so that is coming up. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And I just learned this morning that Sylvia also has just received from President Joe Biden an honorary doctorate and Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award, which is awesome. Congratulations for that, Sylvia. So incredible. And so that is just huge. And so as I pause and reflect on our last conversations, plural, with Sylvia, we have talked over the last 3 years here with SonRise around the Serenity Prayer, where Sylvia broke down in one of our sessions the words and the meaning behind acceptance, serenity, and courage. We also talked about the power of creation. We talked about one New Year's morning. We talked about the power of a new day and a new year and new possibilities every day, and how every day is an opportunity to start clean and start fresh. We've talked about how to not compare ourselves to others. And we've talked about the power of emerge, which was one of the conference themes. And so every single time Sylvia is here, we are blessed. We come away with nuggets and morsels of wisdom that we can use in our daily lives. And I am so delighted and grateful and thankful to have you back, Sylvia, this morning on the topic of belief and the power of belief And so I'm going to turn it over to you with gratitude and to say thank you for being here. And I look forward to this conversation on the power of belief today.
Wow. Thank you, Kelli. Bali looks good on you.
Thank you. It feels good. I'm hoping I can keep it.
Oh, you can keep it. It's a
I
belief.
believe I can keep it. Yes,
One
ma'am.
belief
Yes,
away, right? Good
absolutely.
morning, everyone. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
So we're getting, this is probably of all the things I get to talk about, beliefs is one of my favorites. And not just favorite in that sense, it's my favorite because beliefs are the most powerful things that exist. And it is really what distinguishes us as human beings from the rest of the animal kingdom, if you will, right? Other species, I should say, is our beliefs. We are, I believe, a bit anesthetized to them. We hear it a lot. It's become a bit cliche, but beliefs are one of the most powerful things that exist for us. And I liken beliefs much to like a vehicle. Think about a car. Our beliefs, just like our car gets us from point A to point B, the airplane took you back and forth from DC to Bali, our beliefs get us to and from every single destination that we arrive at in life, right? It's one of the key drivers. In fact, I can move from it being a vehicle to it's also like fuel, right? It's the fuel that drives us, it's our belief systems. And depending on what kind of fuel you have is going to determine that ride, the quality of that ride is going to determine what the outcomes are in life. So they're super critical. And the good news is that we all have a choice about what we believe. And in fact, everything that we do is a choice. Everything that we are is a choice. And even choosing not to choose is a choice. And if we could just pause and think about those two things, I can choose every single thing that I believe. And what I believe is a choice. And choosing not to choose around my beliefs is also a choice. But we're not taught that, and it sounds so cliche-ish. But if we really stopped and thought about, my beliefs is my fuel. They are my fuel. They drive me. They determine the quality of the drive, my experience in life. My beliefs are one of the key catalysts that will determine what I create and what I accomplish in life. And I have a choice about it all. But that is not what we're taught. In fact, we're pretty much on automatic, I would say, for the most of us. And even for myself, who dives in this, talk about this, study this, have been teaching it forever, I have to check in on a regular to see, what are my beliefs in this current moment? Because it's a moving target. But we want to be intentional about it moving. It moves and we're not even seeing what belief we're standing in or are present to in the moment. In fact, I'll go so far as to say we're not present consciously most of the time to most of our beliefs. So just imagine if we stop for a moment and we really got that, but not theoretical. Whoa, my beliefs really are the fuel to my life. They determine the quality and the experience of my life, and they will always drive and determine a tremendous amount around my results. Of course, without action, it's all a fantasy, right? But that is what will drive what you will do and want to. And I have a choice about it. So because I'm conscious of that, I can in real time ask myself, what am I believing right now in this moment? So you mentioned I am woman.
Right.
It's coming up. It was 49 days. When I saw that number the other day, I went, oh my God, 49 days. So the belief that was in play that had me go, oh my God, 49 days was I don't have enough time to
Right.
get everything done. And it started an energy, whereas it had been all fun and joyful. I'm like in my Zen space when I am talking about the possibility of who we are as human beings.
Mhm.
Because I believe to my core that the way God defined each of us as human beings, if we could just align with that, we
Mhm.
are unlimited, we're magnificent, we're
Yes.
unstoppable,
Mhm.
we're infinite, we're infinite,
Mhm.
right? We're timeless, we're ageless, we're all of those things. But we have to align with a certain set of beliefs. But when I saw myself doing that, oh, this belief that you don't have enough time is going to make
Mhm.
these next 49 days horrendous. A
Mhm.
stress, a stress, a stress cooker, right? I
Mhm.
go, oh
Mhm.
no, you got all the time you need. This
Mhm.
is your 9th year. You've got an incredible team.
Yeah.
You've been chosen to do it.
Yeah.
You got everything you need to create an extraordinary experience for everyone that attends. And
Mhm.
everything that you don't have, there's an abundance of incredible human beings around you. So enjoy the journey. Because I also have been lately asking myself this, what if the very point of life was the journey itself?
Yes.
I'm all for the results. I love the bounty of what good results bring. But what if
Mhm.
I flipped it on its head and the point became, my belief was that really the reason for being is the journey.
Yeah.
How different would we be about our moment to moment and the quality and the way in which we lived our lives? So
Mhm.
that's a belief that I'm really embracing now instead of
Wow.
driving so hard to get to the destination. Sylvia, how about the point is because all the living happens in the getting there.
That's right. Not just the ultimate event. Mhm.
Yes. All the
Mhm.
living happens in the getting there, right?
Mhm.
So I love having these conversations because it's so
Mm.
confrontive. It's a boomerang. I share it with you, and guess who it
Right.
comes back to immediately? Myself.
Right. Right.
It comes
And
right
the
back to me.
whole thing about that's transformation of the beliefs. It's a
Mm,
transformation
mhm,
because
mhm.
we have so many beliefs that we in our lifetime come to become habits or
Yeah.
truths.
Yep,
And I think
truth.
that's the work. It's how do you
That's the thing.
transform those beliefs?
Mhm. It takes a habit to
Mhm.
transform them.
Mhm.
I ask myself, Sylvia, are you in a possibility, conversation, belief, or no possibility? And that can vacillate in a given day. I'm in no possibility belief or I'm in a possibility belief. You bring up a very good point. I got so many notes, so I'm going to keep looking to
Yes,
make
please.
sure I don't miss them. They empower us or they constrict us. That's what our beliefs will do.
That's right.
They will have us risk or they will have us play safe. They will have us open as a human being or closed as a human being. Here's a big question I ask myself, and I'm going to ask each of you to ask yourselves is do you allow your circumstances, the facts, to drive your beliefs? Or do you allow your beliefs to determine and drive your circumstances? And I know for the most of us, we allow the circumstances of life, the things
Mhm.
that are particularly not going well, to drive what we begin to believe. When
Mhm.
we want to get steadfast around certain beliefs so that we're always more powerful and empowered, regardless of the circumstances of life, because they're going to come and go. There's going to be the waves, there's the highs, there's the lows, there's the good times, there's the bad times. But if I
Mhm.
can stand steadfast in certain beliefs, then I'm going to drive and shape the experience of the circumstance. I'll give you an example, and not to make anybody sad, but I lost two of the most important people in my life in the last 8 weeks. My brother
Oh.
in love, married to my sister for 45 years. And
Mm.
when I tell you, not like a fake fairy tale, but it is as good as it gets. She's not
Mm.
worried about one bill or anything in 45 years. He
Wow.
has been there for every single family member. He is really like my brother, was my brother. And then a dear friend who you happen to know is Cynthia, the meditation. Yeah, we're going to dedicate
What?
this year to her.
I had
Yeah.
no idea.
Can
Oh,
you
took
imagine?
my breath
So
away. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry to say that to you in this moment,
Mm,
but in the last 8 weeks that has happened.
mm,
So I've had to and I'm a woman that believes in heaven. I believe in God.
mm,
I believe I'm going to heaven. Whoa. I have done so much work in
mm,
the last 8 weeks on my belief about what it means to transition. And I had to update it like in a nanosecond because it was overwhelming and I found myself going under, right? I'm
mm,
going to grieve and all of that. But here's what I decided that you can lose, and I don't want to even use the word lose. People can transition
mhm,
to, in my case, heaven and
mhm,
be with God. And I could redefine, not deny the grieving process, but I could redefine it. I don't have
mm,
to do and be all of those things that people would like to impose upon me because that's how it's been forever. Now,
mm.
have I been sad? Yes. But I decided that I could grieve, but I absolutely would not become a woman of sorrow.
Wow.
And I taught a gazillion years that gratitude is the most powerful attitude elevator on the planet. And so every time the sadness comes, I embrace it, I cry, and then I go straight to gratitude. Thank you for the 45 years that I got to know him.
Mm,
Thank you for the covering. Thank you for the sisterhood with Cynthia. Thank
yeah.
you. And in
Wow.
the moment's time, it's like the healing balm of Gilead, the peace that surpasses human understanding. If any, and my niece is a only child,
Mm,
and she's the
mm,
ultimate daddy girl. And we've
mm.
always fretted this time in life
Right.
because we didn't know how she would be. And
Right.
she has actually been able to access joy, moments of joy, laughter, and we've had a
Oh,
peace that I can't quite describe. And that is a belief system in real time as we were getting
mm,
this news
mm.
that my niece decided I am going to be grateful. And
Wow.
this is as the gentleman comes out of the room of trying to revive her father. That's what she says to the man. Thank you. You've done everything you could, and we're grateful. And
Wow.
I promise you, we're not in denial. I'm not saying pretend, but that is the power of a belief. And so we're living inside of gratitude in
Mm,
this season right now. It's not easy, but it is a choice. And there's been days when I want to just sit there and cry and just sit there and sit there. Okay, cry, but we're not going to just sit here and sit here. Sit here for a
mhm,
minute. But my belief
mhm.
that there's
Wow.
so much more and
Right.
how blessed and honored I've been to
Right.
have such rich relationships. My belief is that I've been favored, that I was
Right.
chosen to have those two people be a
Mm,
part of my life.
mm.
I can't even begin to tell you. See, you can teach this stuff, but
Right.
really
You have
transformation
to
is
live.
a action learned game. It's in real
Mhm,
time when I'm
mm.
up against it. My heart is aching. I'm not sure what will I choose. And that's where the serenity prayer is powerful. It is taking courage to keep choosing gratitude, right? And
Mhm.
strength.
Right.
So that's the power of it. So do you allow the facts and the circumstances to drive your beliefs, or
Mm,
do you allow your beliefs to shape the circumstances? And I'm not doing woo woo, la la, don't address the human emotion. Do so,
that's
because
right.
we can't shift what we're unwilling to be with. And pretending like something's not so
Mm,
doesn't make it not so. It doesn't make it not hurt. It doesn't make it
wow.
not be there. So we
Right.
embrace what is and then intentionally rise up, get out of automatic,
Yeah.
and choose to choose. It is one of the most powerful things that exists. Here's the thing though.
Mm,
We were born into some pre-existing beliefs that were here when we got here, and it's strong. These beliefs are like institutions separately.
Right.
There's a belief system that's institutional about what it means to be a woman. And that was part of the driver of how I Am Woman came about. Here, women are the most powerful beings on the planet. This is no put down to men. But ideally, we are the only beings that can give life to another human, whether we choose to or not. And some of us are not able. And some people, women are like me, who chose, I said at 15, I'd never be anybody's mother, right? So whether we chose it or not, the idea is that we are the ones that bring life to humanity. And yet, very few women have ever stopped to say, what does it mean to me to be a woman? What do I believe that it means to be a woman? Not what my mother says, not what my sister says, and certainly not what this society says. And that was I didn't even know that decision that I made at a young age would be so controversial for people, but sometimes I can see it when I say, "Ooh, I am a woman that decided it." I was a girl when I decided, but I said at 15, "Ooh, no, I'm too selfish. I got too much I want to do. I'm not going to do what I saw my mother do for us. She gave us everything, and I wanted freedom. I wanted freedom. I still love my decision, but that was a decision that I had to be, I didn't know, like in the moment, to be willing to self-define. My mother raised us that way, though. She taught us to think for ourselves. So it's a little easier for me to do it perhaps than some other people that are taught to align, go along with others, but we had to lead our own lives. She said, if you make bad decisions, let them be your own, not somebody else's. So anyways, but that is a belief. But someone would say, whoa, what kind of woman is that wouldn't have that motherly instinct, don't want to be a mom, right? That's a belief system. And there was all these things that what woman equal. And I don't think very few of us have stopped to say, but what's my belief?
That's right. That's
About what it
society's
means.
belief.
Yeah, that's theirs, or my mom's. So we want to ask that. And do you even know what you believe? When's the last time you stopped to do a belief inventory? It's essential. You know, what do you believe about money? What do you believe about age? What are you believing about the future? What are you believing about the current society that we live in? What is your belief about God? My belief about God has changed so much from the little 12-year-old girl that on Easter Sunday went down on my own and said, I want to give my life to Jesus. Still believe in Jesus and God, but you know what? I have a relationship with God versus religion, right? That's an updated version of something that's a cornerstone of my life. My parents were spenders. My dad did, make a lot of money, quote unquote, at that era, but they were spenders. And I didn't ever look at the water that I was swimming in. And guess what I love to do? Spend. Thank God I married somebody that said, put some money away.
Right.
Because I just feel like money is endless. I'm always going to have it. It's always going to come to me. It always works out. And I'm not saying that that's a bad belief, but we need to check them.
Yes.
And everybody on here I know has gotten a new cell phone in the last, and I always use this example over the last 6 years. Why did you get the new cell phone? Because the operating systems are obsolete. And they're not as efficient. They will not allow you to get and accomplish the things you want to accomplish. So do your current beliefs about money, about age, about the future, about your children, about your relationships, whatever that might be, married, single, romantic, platonic. Are they working? Do you even know what they are? Have you stopped to see? I used to, people use the word friend loosely. And I'll say friend too. But in my head, I never knew I had some very specific kinds of things of what friend meant to me. I had never examined that in such a way until 15 years ago, I lost another very good friend. And I just knew what we all were going to do for her then 22-year-old son, who had never written a check, but now was getting ready to take up his mother's legacy and run her business. Whoa. Well, my belief was so different of what it meant to be friend. And maybe it's because, I made her a promise as well that I would stand by him and I would be there. But even if I had not said those words to her, there's certain things in my world that a friend do, and there's certain things that friends don't do. Have we even defined that? We just use it.
Right.
So I want to stop and give you I can get going. And do you have a question? Something you want to say? I got so much more I want to say.
Yes.
But I want to
Tons of
hear.
questions. I have tons of questions, and there's some in the chat too. So
Okay.
one of our callers has said, how do you change the belief when your child continues to be admitted in and out of the hospital for her mental health due to severe depression and suicidal ideation? How do you change the belief?
So there's a difference. Let me share this with you. I work with a lot of my clients around this particular piece. So everyone loves breakthroughs, right? Because in one moment you don't know something. With the right conversation, if it's provocative enough, bam, new ideas, there's a fresher breath air, and you're now in a new moment with a new perspective. That's a breakthrough, right? What one must do when we have continuous, what seems to be hopeless, no new possibility in sight, how do we stand in that? I believe belief and faith are first cousins. I made that up, but I really do believe that they're first cousins. And it's more like a gym membership. You can't say, oh, okay, I believe my child is well, and that's it. And you think that that's the end of it. It is a consistent, constant, ongoing, in some cases, never-ending choice to choose to believe in spite of the ginormous, not so positive facts that are in front of you. And it's like, you got to keep lifting. It's not like I sign up for the gym and I go, the people that sign up and they go walk around and then they don't come back. Or the people that go to the gym like I do, and then I do what I want to do. I just do cardio. I won't do the other stuff, right? Which I need the other stuff. It is like rigor. It's going to take rigor. And I believe, again, that's where the serenity prayer comes in. Keep looking through the lens of, is this something I can change? Look through, literally use the prayer. Okay, I can't change it. God, please give me the strength. Spirit, whatever but mine is God, give me the strength. Okay, well, what can I change? Well, give me the courage. And I even pray for inspiration. I'm a person that stayed pretty inspired and motivated. And so I had a dip in inspiration, and it was like foreign to me. And I was like, what the heck? I even am grateful to be inspired, because you cannot be inspired. Ask for the inspiration and the strength, because you can have the desire and not have the inspiration to do it, But if you have the desire and you can get empowered with the inspiration to do it, and it's worth doing it over and over, your child, your sanity, your mental wholeness and wealth is worth doing it over and over and over again. Now, I'm really being vulnerable here. So I go up and down with these pounds. Kelli and I talked to her about my love
both do.
for potato chips and other things. They don't align with my vision for myself. So some of the habits that I have, eating it late, the kind of foods that I like, salty, crunchy, they don't align with this vision of this physique and physical wellness and fitness that I want. Now, I will walk 4 miles 5 days a week. Yay for me. Give myself some credit for that. I'll drink the water. Yay for me. But if I stay up too late, that refrigerator will win, right? So I've just made my mind up that this is the deal. I'm either going to break the habit and have not just a breakthrough, because I have moments of breakthrough where I'll go 6 or 8 weeks and it's amazing. And then I go to that one event and then I have the champagne and then I go get the chicken thing or whatever. And then it's on and popping in the direction I don't want to go in. And it could be extremely frustrating. I'm laughing about it today, but there are moments when I will have lows. Let me just keep it all the way real about, I can't believe you teach everybody else all this other stuff, and you're going to let an inanimated object like potato chips have more power over you than all of the distinctions. I'm just keeping it all the way real. And it's no comparison to what you're dealing with when you're dealing with a loved one like your child, but the habits and the mindset is still the same, right? So I made my mind up that, okay, I am either going to reach that goal and accomplish it, or I'm going to leave the planet still working on it, but I will not give up. I will not give up. I will not give up. And, I think on either side, whether it's something that we're going for that is fulfilling and rewarding, or something that is emotionally challenging and disheartening and can hurt to the core, because that's, blood of your blood. That's bone of your bone, flesh of your flesh. I mean, it doesn't get any deeper than that. The love just doesn't run any deeper than the parent-child love. I just believe that that's one of the biggest challenges in life, when the people that you've been, birthed are not on track and you're watching them be in pain. But given that you can't make them do what you want them to do, the only part that you have some say in is how are you going to relate to what is occurring? How will I choose? What is, it's a piece that I use with my coaching clients. And I want to give this to you, Kelli, and if y'all can send it to people. It's a diagram, and I made it up for my clients. And the first column is, what are the facts? Fact is, my child is having mental issues, emotional addiction, whatever the facts is. Then what are your beliefs? This is never going to change. This is hopeless. I mean, it's never going to change. They don't want to do it, whatever the belief is. What are your feelings? Hopeless, anger, frustration. And then this is probably the piece where we have the most say, is what is an empowered, intentional interpretation of the facts that my child keeps going in and out of the hospital? How do I interpret that intentionally so that I'm empowered? And then the last part of that column is, what is an empowered, intentional action that I can take? Journal, pray, meditate, hug them, kiss them, cry, therapy, whatever the actions are. And so I use that because otherwise we stay in the analysis paralysis, emotional roller coaster and can't get off. It'll get you off of that hamster wheel at the very least. So that's a long answer, but that's what I offer. And it's consistency. It's consistent habits that will access your power and your peace. It's like a non-negotiable. It has to be with that kind of life, things that we can't control.
So to take that example and work through that example, I'd love your thoughts on that for that caller, where she talks, because you were saying, okay, what are the facts? And I wrote it
So the
down.
fact is, if I heard you correctly, is my child
is in and out of the hospital.
in and out of the hospital. That's the only fact there. And they may have some mental, whatever they've been diagnosed with. So whatever the facts are. Belief would be, this is never going to change.
Right.
Okay. So then the feeling would be, it could be overwhelmed, it could be anger, it could be depression, it could be hopelessness. Those are the feelings, right? Intentional interpretation is that this will be different. I know it's just a matter of time before we hit the right combination of medication and experts to get my child on a strong and steady path.
Yeah. Okay.
Intentional empowered action is I'm going to journal every day. I'm going to pray every day. I'm going to kiss my child and love them for where they are and who they are in this moment in time. That would be an example.
That's fantastic. And I hope that helps the caller. It's interesting because that 5-part framework that you shared,
Mm-hmm.
I was taking notes on it and I was working through that in my mind with my eldest,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a different way of when you talk about intentional interpretation and intentional action. Those two pieces are so key
Mm-hmm.
because it's how I choose to respond and how I choose to interact
Mm-hmm.
that has made a world of difference in
Yeah.
the past.
Now let's keep it real. That is, see, when you look at the graph, it's minus the emotions, it's minus having to engage with the other person.
Right.
So you got to leave room for your humanity to react. But if you can master responding versus reacting. So I told you, well, you all know I've said it, that I haven't given birth, but my 16-year-old, he was 15, he just turned 16 a couple weeks ago. Nephew came and stayed with me for about 10 days. It was
Day
whoa.
9, you're like, what time is your flight tomorrow?
And then I thought for sure he goes, Auntie, you got lots of rules. Does everything have to be a learning opportunity? You know, and I had to rewire so much to make just not ruin the vacation, because there's so many things that I see that I know should be further along, and he's spoiled and he's entitled, and it was like crazy making for me, and he's sloppy and stuff is everywhere, and I'm not like that, you know what I mean? And
Yes.
I had to do everything I just said to you guys, and I shifted in the middle of the day 2 or 3, and it turned out pretty good.
Yeah.
And we can't always expect them to do all the shifting. I had to say, okay, I hear you. Auntie does make everything a learning opportunity. So I'm going to dial back on that. I was biting my tongue because it's so like automatic for me.
Right.
So the willingness, but what was important to me was that our relationship got closer and the level of intimacy grew versus me being right about how wise I am and all the great things I could do to make his life better, which is true, but I had to pull back a bit. And when I knew anything, he started asking questions. He caught himself with a couple corrections because he said, yeah. And I'm like, no, not yeah, it's yes. And so he caught himself, yeah. Oh, yes. I went,
Right. Because they listen.
Yeah, I started asking though versus telling so much. I started asking questions too. Not an interrogation. It's just a fine balance between how many you can ask at one time. So I can maybe get 2 questions in. I can't do the half a dozen that I want, because the senior thing for me was to empower him. And he said to me, and I thought about you, Kelly, I am not going to even lie, when he said, you acting like everything that I can't get anything right. And I said, oh my God, forgive me. That's not what Auntie is trying to say. It's just that you're so smart. I just know that. And then I had to, you know.
It's a
So anyway,
reframe.
that's a long
Constant
answer.
reframe. Constant reframe. There's another question.
Sure.
Okay, so one person says, thanks for asking the question. Many of us probably struggle with faith and belief that things will improve and they'll be okay, especially after many setbacks. And I think that's true. Many of us struggle with that faith and with that belief.
That's no joke. And you got to give yourself, all of the parents that are going through that, more grace than you could ever. I mean, you cannot give yourself enough grace. Because, relationships are built on trust. And it's very hard and difficult to have trust / faith when something keeps going to the left, so to speak, or off course.
That's right.
So own your own humanity.
Own your own humanity. And also, I think the gratitude, when you talked earlier about the pain of losing, again, so sorry, two very close people. In the last few weeks, the shift to gratitude, even in the midst of the
I
chaos,
had to have it.
and
It
really,
was air.
mhm,
It's my oxygen. And I'm telling you, the pain immediately
mhm,
diminishes when I go to gratitude.
right,
I think that will work across the board. It doesn't change the facts. They're gone.
mhm, right,
They're back in the hospital. They're
yeah,
using again, or whatever it is.
right,
But
the
what
it,
I do know, and I've said this before, Kelly, we've heard
mhm,
that saying bittersweet.
mhm,
It's gratitude that can offer up and serve up sweetness in the middle of the bitter. I do believe that that's where that came from. I
yeah,
made that up, but I've heard that my whole life, bittersweet, bittersweet. Well, what does that mean? Well, I've been able to access a lot of sweet
that's
in
good.
what would be bitter. Um, what is an example of an intentional interpretation of that question? I'm not sure of what they're asking there.
I'm wondering if do you the intentional interpretation for the question earlier, I believe around if it was your question around I think it was your daughter in and out of the hospital, the intentional interpretation was this will be different or this will change or this will get better. It
Yeah.
will get better.
Mhm.
And I'm not sure if that's the question you're referring to, but that's what
That
I
would be
believe.
how to
Okay,
do it.
yeah. So the fact was, my daughter's in and out of the hospital, or I had a call from a woman this week that said she was really struggling because her son is suicidal and she's trying to find a place, and she was asking about residential treatment facilities. And I said, I'm not sure. I said, I'm not a doctor. But going from experience, I personally believe that they may have done more harm than good. The
Mhm.
places that we sent Kyle, I'm not sure, but that's my personal belief. And but the point is, if I were to go through that with her, this language methodology, the facts are she's worried about her son, similar to the caller, worried about her son. She's concerned. The belief is that he might harm himself, and she's really worried about that. The feelings are hopelessness and overwhelm. The
Mhm.
intentional interpretation is we'll find some help, and it
Mhm.
will be, and he will, you know, get some help that he needs.
Mhm.
And then the intentional action is to journal, to pray, to, have conversations,
Mhm. Network,
people
find
network
somebody who's found somebody that's good
to
that you
really
can
help
trust.
him,
Yeah,
that you
that
can
trust
trust.
your child and
That's
take
right.
care of your
That's right.
child.
And that he will react to.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that, yes, I think that answers the question. She says yes. There's
Okay.
one other question that came earlier that said, where is it? How hard is it? Or it's similar to the earlier question, but it says it's hard to be a caregiver and try to run a business and maintain a life,
Mhm.
when you're dealing with all of this. So can you
Yeah.
speak to that? Like managing it all?
Mhm.
Some advice or some tools on
Don't
how
do it.
to do
My
all of that.
biggest one would be don't try to do it alone. You
Mm,
got to get help
yeah.
and know your capacity, know your lane, know where you're strong and where you are challenged. And this is one of my ones that I still have to work on quite a bit is the willingness to be vulnerable and ask for help. I don't mind people helping me if it's not like a need, but let me feel like I need help, then my mouth gets sealed shut. If I just want you to do something for, hey, listen, my car, got a flat. Can you pick me up? That's not a problem to ask you for that. But let's say I don't have a car and I need to get to my job. Asking you to take me to work then is very different. So I say really, really block your life out. I do what I call chunks. What is wanted and needed for the business? What is wanted and needed for my family? What is wanted and needed for my health and well-being? Right. And then I have to put it on the calendar because otherwise it's too many moving parts in my head. It's taking energy. because I can't remember it all and I'm worried I've forgotten something. So my best friend right now is a old school notepad and old school calendar. Yay for my phone, but I need to see it. So in my office, I got a big, and it's blocked out. But get the support, get friends, experts, barter, whatever you need to do, because sometimes finances might not be there. What is an innovative, creative way to get the support that you need? Because we just can't do it all. We can't do it all. I know you probably already know that, but it's critical. And sometimes when we're the hamster, some of our lives, we've constructed this thing that doesn't work, by the way. We've turned ourselves into human doings versus human beings. And to get off of that track is no joke. It was COVID, because someone had told me I got an analysis, a person to do an analysis of my business. She did a SWOT analysis. Most people are familiar with it. And she said, Sylvia, you might just need to stop for a minute. And in my head, I'm going, she's crazy. Does she think that I can actually stop? She says, you may have to stop to start. And I never would do it. I hired her, and then I didn't even call the woman back after she did the analysis, because I'm thinking she's insane. There's no way I can stop. And then COVID came, and guess what? I had to stop. And I could have, I didn't know that then, right? But that stop, oh, thank you. Not for COVID, but what I got done in COVID. I rearranged my whole life. So I went from 75% travel down to maybe 25% travel now. The things that I thought I would take all the opportunities that people offered up. Honey, listen, I will say no and refer something so quick. I just look at well, you know what? I would have been out for a week. I don't want to go 3 weeks in a row. I'm going to have to say no to that. Or would y'all be willing to change the date to meet my schedule? It has offered up so many new opportunities. So I would reevaluate too. What are some things that you have to do? What are some things you're just doing because it's a habit? What things do you want to do? I love this work, but there's this, I was doing some very deep, heavy work, three weeks out of the month. I don't do that now that frequent. I still do it, but I like to do those sessions like once a quarter, where I'm in the room with 150 people and they're all bringing their deepest, darkest pain. That's no joke. I love doing some of the other stuff that I do. I Am Woman, Supercharged, because it's moving people forward, but they coming to be moved forward. So I'm more the pusher versus the dig them up, lift them up, do CPR, and all of the other stuff that my other work requires. So
right. I love that. Asking why you're doing things as well. Why am I doing this? And then saying
get
no.
help.
And
Get
I
help.
want get help. So critical. I want to ask about, you mentioned Supercharge and I Am Woman, and I am a huge fan of both. I Am Woman, the conference is coming up again, the 9th year.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that our participants, our callers, our village knows about it, because I am a witness. It was life-changing for me every year I attended.
Yeah.
And it's September 23rd and 24th in Atlanta.
Yep.
So can you share about what it's like?
Sure. It's incredible. And it's not a conference. It's just a name that is universal. It is, oh, wow, an empowerment weekend, and that's a light word for it. But you know, Kelly, I work a lot in transformation. So what distinguishes I Am Woman from, quote unquote, the average conference is very interactive, right? And it's designed to reveal things to the woman, every woman, that she does not yet know about herself in real time. That weekend that will happen. And once that's revealed, then what I'm very big on, because I used to speak at so many and go to so many, and then I go back home and 3 weeks later, I'd be doing the same thing. So my commitment is that life tools called distinctions are taught that weekend, so that when a mother is going through what we just talked about, or you're getting ready to start a business, or you're getting ready to do a big speech and you're intimidated, whatever it is, you now have at your disposal distinctions that you can use that will have you choose and operate from your power place, right?
Right.
And so it's highly interactive. This year is I Am Woman 2023 Believe, and we will distinguish between believe and beliefs. I'm excited about, I have one woman who had a pretty tough background. Matter of fact, Susan knows her. Susan wanted me to meet her. She was incarcerated for almost 9 years. And I came out and have created a platform with, 400,000 followers, got a product line, clothing line. And so that's going to be called Inside the Extraordinary Mind. And I'm not going to allow her to tell the story, but I'm going to, this was a vision that God gave me to take them through a journey in her mind, how to create the heart and mind of a champion is another opportunity. The one that I cannot wait for us to dig around in is how to redefine the hustle. That grind, go. We made that up. You can't eat bombs and do nothing, but there is a way to be in alignment and create some pretty big results, but from a place of flow. And the intersectionality between mind, spirit, body, how to quiet the mind and allow yourself to live from your core and your spirit. What else? It's going to be good. I'm going to do a big piece on updating actual belief systems. We'll sit down. I alluded to this today, but we will actually do a belief inventory.
Love it.
And there's going to be a lot of illumination there where people just didn't even know what they were believing. Once we do that, that's not enough to now see it. Now let's go to the design board. Different than affirmations, which I'm very strong on, they will actually get to design new sets of beliefs and then be given the tools of how to work with those beliefs until they become their truth, right? And that's a work. And it goes on, and we laugh and we dance, and it's quite powerful.
It's a beautiful experience.
Yeah.
I'm a witness. I'm going to put the link in the chat. I know over the years we've had people from SonRise attend our SonRise Village.
It's awesome.
Would love to see people from this group go. I know it would be helpful. So I'm going to put the link in the chat.
And I want to say this, Kelly, I'm cutting you off. I'm sorry. To the mothers, this is what I'll say to you all. Most of you will have a time issue, a family issue, maybe some people finance. I don't think so because it's very modestly priced, right? And then Kelly gets a special price for it, right? Here's the thing is if it was one of your children, you would figure out how to make sure that they have it.
That's right.
So it's a gift to give yourself. And I just say that very candidly because you get to sit down for 2 days and be with you about you. And I think when we're up against, or even not up against, but creating big things in the world, we need to keep filling up. So we're living, like we're saying, we're not pouring from our cup, but we're pouring from our saucer, so to speak. Yeah.
Which is amazing. I will just say, and I know we're out of time. I can't believe it. The hour flew by.
I didn't even get to hear what's on these notes, but it's all good.
But I do want to say, if Sylvia graciously this morning said she's willing to extend the early bird price, which is $289 instead of $389.
Yep.
So what I can do is send out it and it includes lunch. And so anybody that knows, if you go to a hotel and you have lunch, it's $100 a person, by the time you do all the stuff.
You better believe it.
Covers lunch both days, plus light breakfast. And so the key is getting to Atlanta. And there's a great rate at the hotel, et cetera. It's a Marriott, I believe. Yeah. And so just I really strongly recommend it. And would love to see a group from SonRise attend. I think it is powerful. Someone said I might attend. So it's IamWomanConference.com. I have attended every year. This is the first year I won't be there because I actually said yes to attend one of my line sister trips, which I've never attended. And this is the first time I said yes to me to doing that. But unfortunately, I'll miss the conference, but still supportive and hope people can attend. I hope you
ladies come. It's really great.
Yeah.
It's really great. Thank you so much, Kelli. I have such love and appreciation for what it takes to parent and do life
Mhm.
in these interesting times. So again, I'm going to say a
Mhm.
lot of grace,
Mhm.
kindness, and make sure the words you speak to yourself and about yourself are gentle, empowering, and encouraging. Yeah.
Gentle, empowering, and encouraging. I love that. Gentle, empowering, and encouraging.
Yeah,
The words to ourselves.
absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. Hopefully you'll come back soon, maybe right before your conference.
Anytime.
I would love to have you back in September, maybe before
Yeah.
you do the
Give
big
me a call.
conference.
Mhm.
And appreciate you so much. So
Same,
grateful that we met
same,
randomly 10 plus
same.
years ago. I say randomly, but it was divinely, really.
Yes, it was. I'm
So
glad that
grateful for
happened.
that. And grateful that you said yes for being here and
Yeah,
for
thank
starting our
you.
day like this and for getting up so early. I know you're in San Francisco.
I need to be up, so
Yeah,
it's
well, you
good.
need to probably go to sleep because you said you didn't really sleep so well. But
I'll
thank
figure it
you
out.
for being here. Thank you.
Thank you. And blessed day to everyone.
Thank you. And I'm going to turn over to Tiara, who is driving with her daughter for her daughter's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy
And she's
birthday.
going to close us out with our prayer.
Prayer.
Thank you, Tiara. And thank you,
They
Sylvia.
want to know if it's a code, Kelli, for the
Oh, if
early
there's a
bird.
code for early bird.
You put in the link, I'll make sure that it's
Okay,
only
we'll make sure we send
289.
a link.
That
Yeah,
it's
because
only
it says
289.
389 right now on the
Yeah.
registration. So if when Sylvia sends that out to everybody that's here, we'll send out an email. Maybe it can be Sunrise, so it's easy up
Okay.
for the code.
That's
But you
easy
can
enough.
ask your folks, Sylvia, and let
All
us
right.
know.
I'll make
Thank
sure
you.
that happens today, Kelli. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. And Tiara, back over to you, please. Thank you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfect.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
So Father God, we thank you. We thank you, Lord, for another Sunrise Sunday. We thank you for Kelli and her entire family for providing this platform. We thank you for Sylvia High for graciously spending her morning with us and pouring out such wisdom and knowledge. We thank you, God. We thank you, Lord, for downloading new operating systems in each and every one of us. We thank you for upgrading our beliefs so that they align with our desires, God. We thank you for removing all doubt and fear. We thank you for the faith that allows us to be able to move mountains. We pray your blessing over each and every person on this call. May they have a powerful, productive, and positive and peaceful week. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. New operating systems. I love that. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you for this morning. Thank you, Tiara. Happy birthday to your baby girl. And Sylvia, and to everybody on the phone, have a wonderful day. We'll be back.
Blessed day, everyone.
Thank you. Take care. We'll
Alrighty.
send out the code as soon as we get it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye.
Bye.